You're watching ABC4 News, celebrating 75 years.
This winter, we think of the crowd skiing or snowboarding in Utah's snow country. But there was a time when we might have thought of the thousands who did something else in the snow. We're talking ice skating. From statehood to recent times, Utah had dozens of well-groomed ice ponds for skating. The biggest in Salt Lake City was the Liberty Park pond.
Okay, so we have winter pictures and newspaper stories of nearly 1,000 people coming to Liberty Park to skate, all wearing special ice skating outfits. Craig Worth has a story that is worth watching.
This was Salt Lake City's Liberty Park, the way it pretty much looked on any January weekend.
It was when cities flooded parks and young folks couldn't wait to put on their skates. In 1909, the newspaper said 300 rushed to Liberty Park for the December season opening. The ballpark was also made into a rink. 13th South in Maine was a rink. State and Third was made into a rink as skating was called a popular diversion. Yes, it was when everyone's hometown park became a rink. And a rink was a place a kid could shuffle around, usually with the coaching of a parent. Now that didn't help, as what shuffles on ice, well, will fall down. Oh yes, that is me. And that's what kids did back then, shuffle, shuffle, and fall, over and over. For as we all know, one must keep erect, especially if you were one of the throngs at Liberty Park.
For as we all know, staying upright was vital at Liberty Park. Years ago, we found two who were often at the old rink. Sherry Young and the late Mary Bishop were part of the throngs at Liberty Park.
Stopping meant you run into something, so that was good. So having other people out here was the way you stopped.
Of course, at Liberty Park, there was the ultimate place to stop, the island.
So when you're on ice skates, you'd go along and you'd be getting a good rush on. How do you stop? Nobody knew. We didn't know what we were doing. And the island would come up on you, and then you'd stop. And that was what the island was for, in my mind.
Skating was certainly the craze, going back even 100 years ago, when the fashions were geared to skating. The Salt Lake newspapers reported the craze reached high society.
Now, how popular was outdoor ice skating? Well, 500 joined in one contest at Liberty Park in the 1930s. 900 slid across Liberty Park on opening day in 1943, many with their new fancy skates on sale for just over $5 a pair. Yes, even in the 1950s, you could get skates for $3.99, and that was a lot cheaper than buying skis for a little over $22 complete with bindings.
The popularity? Well, this just gave parents something to worry about. In 1921, all wondered, have skate athletes gone the limit with amazing acrobatic feats demanded by the newest craze in ice skating? Oh my, the spread eagle, how dangerous. Or in my case, the 3-inch shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Kids never understand why parents worried.
We never drowned, number one. I mean, it's 2 feet of water. And so we never drowned. We never sprained our ankles. We never hurt our knees. You know, if we did, we didn't complain about it. You just got back out and did it some more.
Of course, in Liberty Park, Mary Bishop said it wasn't the ice or even the thin ice that got Mom worried.
My mother was always concerned when I went, and I cannot figure out why, because there wasn't much water. I mean, really, there wasn't much. The only thing I can figure out is she was worried I'd fall in and get salmonella. That's the only thing I can figure out.
There were no helmets, no pads. There was just something that made all of us kids from the 50s somehow make it into the 60s. Yeah, when you did get hurt, it was even news for the paper. That's why you kept your injuries quiet. And we didn't need fancy warming huts either.
Yeah, you just, find a spot. If you couldn't find a bench, it was on the snow. You just lace up your skates.
That's what a snowbank is for. For this was a craze. It was ice skating.
Yeah, you'd shuffle through the snow, put on your skates, go out on the ice. Gee, that was fun.
Craig Worth, ABC4 News.
Oh, Craig Worth, you are still so cute. Okay, we hit a milestone across the state over the weekend. This amount of moisture doesn't typically accumulate in our mountains until early April, so we are roughly 2 months ahead of schedule. Statewide snowpack sitting at 167% of normal, with more than a foot of snow in our mountains with this most recent storm. Our statewide snow water equivalent and snowpack measures come from 16 water basins. Nearly all basins are averaging more than 150% of normal for this time of year. So by hitting the median peaks of 15.8 inches already, any additional moisture should help chip away at our drought and replenish our reservoirs.
We'd love to have above average. Our reservoirs are at about 49% right now, and typically this time of year they'd be at about 60%. In order to bring the reservoirs up to where they would typically be this time of year, we'd need about as much water as is in Bear Lake.
Laura, who you just heard from, says that she doesn't think we'll see our reservoirs return to 100% of capacity this year, but that forecasters are calling for 110 to 130% of normal runoff into our reservoirs.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Alana Brophy, Weather Rates certified 11 years in a row.
It's been an incredible winter, and we hope to keep adding to that over the next couple of months.
Yeah, you have some more good news, Alana?
Yes, an active pattern. We definitely will take it. Hey, we started off the work week with a little bit of snow. We saw it in different parts of the state, including down in Washington County. This is Dameron Valley. How pretty to see this. As this storm was exiting, it did drop off some light snow in the higher elevations of Washington County. Thanks to Hunter Wolf for sending that our way. Here's a look at some of those storm totals. Now, this storm system came in two waves, one yesterday and one this morning, resulting in 20 inches up there at Alta. Healthy numbers tonight: 17 at Snowbird, 16 at Brighton Park City, getting 9 and 7 at Bryan Head. So a winter weather advisory was in effect for our mountains until 5 p.m. And those numbers tell you why. We did really well in our valleys as well. 8 inches at Heber, Cedar getting close to half a foot there, 4 inches in Fillmore. Layton picked up 3 in Salt Lake, got 2.5. All right, we like a quick hitter, and we like a quick hitter that comes through and accumulates. As we take a look at our mountain snow totals, this is a good look at Alta, and they're great at record keeping. That's why we show this. We're currently sitting at 492 inches of snow for the season. We have surpassed last year's total snow, and we still have the potential to accumulate more. Average is 538, and we have plenty of time left in the season if we get that active pattern to stay put. All right, that second wave brought a reinforcing shot of cold air to the Beehive State, which is why our daytime highs hit 38. Typically this time of year, we're at 42, so we were running below average. 30s along the Wasatch Front, considered warm for Cache Valley after what they went through last week. We made it into the upper 20s in Vernal, 40s in Moab, 30s for the I-15 corridor, and 52 in St. George. Usually they're right around 57. Temperatures getting through the rest of tonight will be frigid. We're going to stay in the 20s, so a cold start to the day with drier conditions and those mountain snow showers tapering off. There's that area of high pressure. It's going to build over the Beehive State tonight and through the day tomorrow. That ridge means dry conditions and sinking air. It also means that we could see some air quality deteriorate. So this evening we saw the showers quiet, the high pressure's building. Tomorrow that will be the big weather headline. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies with quiet conditions due to that high pressure. And then we check out Wednesday. Here we go. Quick hitter of a storm comes through. Could impact right there on the state line in Cache Valley. We'll see increasing cloud cover along the Wasatch Front as a result of this system. Light snow expected in the mountains. We could also see a little bit of snow in our valleys. Not a tremendous amount of impact. Quick moving system, but it keeps active conditions. Okay, with that high pressure taking control, we will see air quality compromise on the eastern side of the state and the southern Wasatch Front, as well as Cache Valley, getting back into the moderate category. Tooele is forecast to get there as well. As we look at the active conditions, we also check the long range here. 6 to 10 definitely shows above average precip. You pair that with our cold temperatures, and so any moisture would likely be snow. Here's a check on what to expect for tomorrow. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s, low 50s in St. George. A quiet Tuesday on deck. Here's a look at the next 7 in Washington County, where the winds will pick up. Just the slightest chance of maybe some wet weather on day 7 in Washington County, but Wasatch Front sees that quick hitter on Wednesday and the potential late Saturday into Sunday of another storm. All right, we stay below average with 30s for the next 7 days.
Okay. Thank you, Alana. I appreciate it. Time now for Look at Sports with our Dana Green.
A couple weeks, the dollar bills will be flowing through Salt Lake City.
Make it rain in threes and rain in dollars. Yeah, the NBA All-Star Game is going to have a huge impact, especially economically. Jazz owner Ryan Smith talks about that. Plus, the Jazz try to get